Are you tired of getting lost on ground zero or wondering where the good loot is? Or maybe you're spawning in and having difficulty knowing where you are and where you should go. Well, if so, then this ground zero map guide for 2025 is for you. Hi guys and welcome back to Tarkov University. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the Ground Zero map in Escape from Tarkov since the release of 1.0. In this guide, we're going to cover the spawn areas, extracts, the best loot locations, and some suggested routes and pathings based off the spawns. Whether you're a brand new player or a Tarkov veteran returning for the 1.0 release, this guide will help you survive Ground Zero and get those early quests done. Let's get into it. Ground Zero is Escape from Tarkov's beginner-friendly starter map. This is designed for new players to learn the mechanics of the game like spawning, extracting, looting, PvP, and questing. It's a very compact urban area with fast-paced engagements, simple routes, and extremely consistent early game loot. This is the only map that separates players based off of level. There is going to be an under-level 21 queue and an over-level 21 queue. If you are in a party, the queue that you'll enter is based off the highest level member of your squad. In the over-level 21 queue, the loot pool will include more high-tier rare loot, and cultists can also appear during your night raids. Let's begin by covering the map layout, spawn areas, and how you orient yourself on the map so you don't get lost. You can find the map that we'll be looking at on the Tarkov wiki, or feel free to join our Discord. I upload all the most recent maps in there. Link to the Discord is in the description. Now, if we look at the map, there are essentially two levels. There's the street level and the underground. First, we're going to cover the underground. This part of the map stretches almost the full length of the street. You can tell where the exits or entrances to the underground are based off the corresponding numbers shown here. For example, if you exit the underground at number 1, it's going to pop you out here by the Emercom checkpoint extract. You're going to find some decent loot in the underground, like toolboxes and crates. I consider the underground to be a much safer loot route because most of the PvP will take place on the street level and in the buildings above. If you spawn into the underground or nearby and you want to avoid some PvP, just take one of the staircases or ramps down and you can loot it all the way to your extract. Now let's talk about the street level. The street is our first landmark. You'll notice that the street essentially splits the map in half, so that is the easiest way to navigate this map to me. When you spawn in, you will either spawn on the west side or the east side of this line. Depending on your proximity to either the Emercom checkpoint or Nakatani building when you spawned in, you will have one or the other extract assigned to you. There are 7 easily identifiable buildings which you can use as your landmarks. The Emercom checkpoint, Skyside, Fusion, Capital, Nakatani, Empire, and Terror Group. First up, we're going to talk about the Emercom checkpoint as this is one of your main extracts. You can spot this from far away because there are medical vehicles and tents underneath the Unity Credit Bank sign shown here. If you're trying to approach this from the Terror Group building, you can just exit the garage and hug the wall all the way right down to the extract. You can get here from Skyside by crossing the parking area. As you get close, just head behind the ambulance and your extract timer will begin. As always, keep your head in a swivel when approaching any extract. You're never safe in Tarkov unless you're back in your hideout. Next up is the Skyside Business Center building. This is a tall skyscraper with the words Business Center written all over the outside of it. You can also see this writing on the front desk by the lobby. The ASAP wine bar is in the front corner. You're going to need to go here for an early quest to receive a wine bottle. This wine bottle can be found anywhere on the shelf, so look around. Moving further south, you're going to run into Fusion. Fusion is easily identifiable as it is the only fancy restaurant. You will find some solid loot crates and food spawns inside on the first and second level. The building in the southwest of the map is known as Capital. You can spot this because there's a giant Capital Insight sign inside the lobby. Across from Capital is the Nakatani building. You can spot this building from far away because there's a red neon sign on top that says Nakatani. To use the Nakatani basement stairs extract, just head inside and all the way down to the back. Once you get there, you'll turn right and head down the stairs. Just keep going down the stairs and your extract timer will start. And yeah, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. North of Nakatani, you're going to find the Empire or Tarbank building. If you enter this from the Terror Group side, you'll see the Empire sign written all over it. If you enter it from the street, you'll see the big Tarbank sign. If you're on the Nakatani side, you'll see both the Empire and the Gagarin Hotel sign. The building that takes up most of the northeast is the Terror Group building. This is easily identifiable because of the unique shape and the honeycomb pattern on the exterior. It is also in a bit of a ruined state due to everything that you saw in the prologue. Learning these landmarks is the foundation of mastering the Ground Zero map. And honestly, these landmarks with signs is a bit of a luxury. The more you play Tarkov, the more you'll notice that the landmarks do not have big giant signs saying what they are. We already spoke about 2 primary extracts you'll use, that is the Emercom checkpoint and the Nakatani basement stairs. So now let's cover cover the last two primary extracts you're going to use on this map. One of these you're even going to need for an early quest. The Police Cordon VX is a car extract that is sometimes available. It is a one-time use extract, so first come, first serve. This means that once a PMC has taken this car extract, it's unavailable for anyone else to use. If you press O to view your extracts, you will be unable to tell if a car extract is available on the map. But you can tell if the car extract has been taken because it will appear in red under your list of extracts. To use the car, you're going to need to have rubles on your PMC to pay the driver. The amount of rubles that you need to pay depends on how good your scav karma is. If you've been killing scavs when playing as a player scav, expect to pay more for car extracts. To use the extract, just approach the car, you're going to pay the man, and then a 60-second countdown timer will begin until the car drives away. Note, you do not need to stand by the car the entire time this timer is going, but you do need to be right next to the car by the time the timer hits 0. I usually hide in cover and I'll monitor the countdown by pressing O. When there's like 5 or 10 seconds left, I'll run back to the car. The last extract we're going to talk about is the Mira Av Flare extract. To use the Mira Av Flare extract, start walking towards the extract and a pop-up will appear that says Signal Flare Area. When you see the pop-up that says Signal Flare Area, you're going to need to fire a green flare up into the sky. If you aim straight up, the flare is likely to go behind you and you need it to go in front of you, so be mindful of that. After you shoot the flare up into the sky, just wait a second and then run to the extract. Understanding where you spawned in and where you're going to extract is the key to building the right ground zero pathing plan. Next up, let's talk about the loot hotspots. Ground Zero has some decent early wipe loot in Escape from Tarkov 1.0. This map is not really filled with high tier loot since it's supposed to be a beginner map, but that doesn't mean that it's empty. You can find loose loot and barter items all around the map. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to share my 2 favorite loot spots with you. The first is the Terror Group building. Head inside the front of the Terror Group building and up the stairs on the right. This locked room on the right is where you'll have to go for a quest. If you haven't found this key yet, instead of going right up the stairs, go straight past them and down the hallway. Keep going and you'll find a body in the back. Just search that body to find the key. Anyways, this locked room on the right has some solid loot in it like computers and filing cabinets. Filing cabinets are king for finding keys, gas analyzers, and other solid loot. Filing cabinets is also where you'll find diaries and stuff like that, which Peacekeeper will pay you top dollar for. Seriously, that dude loves to read other people's diaries. Beyond the locked door, you'll find a large open room with some okay loot. There's only one door that leads into this room, so if you ever get pinned down in here because someone's outside, just be brave and jump out the window. I'm being serious. Doing maneuvers like this is what separates elite Tarkov players from novices. I encourage you to think more outside the box when doing PvP and playing this game. Think of all the maps as a playground and explore. You'd be surprised what you can find. There's more loot scattered around Terror Group, but let's move on to my favorite spot, and that's going to be inside the Empire building. Remember where we're going because you need to get here for a quest. Just head inside the building and into the back and up the stairs. After you climb a few flights, you're going to notice some barbed wire. No worries, just climb on top of the railing and you'll totally avoid the barbed wire. Once you get to the top, just turn left and look around to explore. Note that the way you came up is the only way to get up here. This means that in terms of loot locations, this one is relatively safe. Keep your ears open though, you'll hear many players running around the first floor. A surefire giveaway that someone is headed your way is if they tap that barbed wire. All they need to do is nick it once and you'll definitely hear them. Listen guys, ultimately if you want heaps of money, Ground Zero is not the map to go to. The loot here is just decent, and as we discussed before, the rarity of loot is actually capped if you're under level 21. If you're specifically looking to do loot runs, I recommend you do other maps. And lastly, I'd like to share some of what I consider to be the strongest and safest Ground Zero routes and pathing suggestions based on your spawn. These are routes that I use myself. If you spawn in the underground, just loot up there. You're going to find plenty of stuff and then work your way towards the extract. If you spawn anywhere on the west side of the map or on the street level, figure out which extract you need to head to and then start working your way there. The safest thing you can do in either direction is to just stay in the perimeter. Ground Zero is so small, there are so many choke points on this map that if you wander around the streets, anyone can see you. If possible, stay inside buildings when you can. If you run into someone and you can't beat them, or maybe you don't want to fight them because you have a quest item, look for a nearby staircase to dip into. You can follow this right into the underground and then you can choose to flank them or maybe retreat. These same principles can be applied if you spawn anywhere on the east side of the map. I'd also like to share some survival tips and tricks that I've learned after nearly 4,000 hours. Sound is everything in Tarkov. Ground Zero is a small map and that means lots of loud indoor fights. Always wear a headset in Tarkov and listen for giveaways and players approaching. Use the rooftops, windows, and stairwells to your advantage. Newer players in Tarkov tend to be so stressed out they're only focused on one plane when moving around. Something as simple as elevating yourself to a higher position can give you a massive advantage in a fight, and honestly, most players probably won't even spot you if you're out of that plane in front of their eyes. Always bring painkillers and pre-med if you find yourself needing to sprint across an open area. If you get a blacked out leg, you'll become a sitting duck. I promise this only has to happen once before you pre-med every single time. I also recommend running budget kits if you're playing Ground Zero. I have a guide up on my channel that talks about the principles of a budget kit and how to build one if you're interested in that sort of thing. And that's it for your Escape from Tarkov 1.0 Ground Zero map guide for 2025. If this guide helped you, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe for more Tarkov content. The community has asked me to do one of these guides for every map, so that's the first thing I'll be doing. I've already done most of the maps in Tarkov. You can find those map guides and playlists on my channel. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any other specific guides you guys would like me to make. Also, if you're looking for teammates to run raids with, or maybe you want to just join our community, you can find a link to the Discord in the description. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Ghost, and I'll see you in the next raid.